I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and today I thought we would talk about more frugal ways to save money. I don't know about you, but I am always looking for ways to save money. I feel like it makes my life easier. It makes me have less uncertainty when times are coming in with inflation. I know that I'm able to get by. I know that I'm able to save money. And my parents always raised me that you had to find ways to get by and make do. Make do or do without. Isn't that what they always said back in that era? And it's true even today that we have to learn to make do with ways to do things. And it's hard right now because consumerism tricks us. The manufacturers know that if they can get us to use a product or try a product or eat something or buy something a couple of times, that we'll create a habit and then it'll just become part of our daily routines. How many people have daily routines that we don't even think about anymore because we just do them because that's how we do them? And that's why they give us coupons. That's why they give us things to get us to try something a couple of times and realize that that's just the way we do it now, and that we fall into that trap. And then we forget that there's other ways that we did them before. So let's get started and talk about some of these ways that we can get back into the habit of doing things that save us money. People are always looking for faster, bigger, newer, easier, and they turn out to be more expensive ways of doing things. But if you think back to the way that we used to do things slower and simpler, and maybe they were smaller and older and less expensive, those are the ways that we can actually save money. And over time, things have just evolved to a faster, newer pace. And we've all gone with that and left all of those other ideas in the past. And even though we may envy and admire those newer things and those easier things and those faster things, if you think back to the older ways, that's where we end up cherishing things and remembering those memories that really matter now, aren't they? That's what we reminisce about, is all of those things that happened when we were younger or when our grandparents were alive or our parents were around. And those are the things that we actually envy and cherish. That's how we have antiques, is because those people saved these things and they're now important in our lives. And I sometimes wonder in this era, is there going to ever be antiques? People are so disposable now. They throw things away, they don't keep things, they move on to that next model of whatever it is, and the older things are just gone and forgotten. There's not a thing wrong with being old-fashioned. Keeping some of these old things is kind of fun, and I enjoy having them around my house. That's how my house is decorated. Like, this is an old-fashioned coffee pot. Maybe you've seen some of these on the westerns and they used them over campfires. And the little tiny percolator area that you could see the coffee bubbling up in. And the teapot, and they still use this in the UK. They still use these to make their tea. Some of them have gone electric, but this also is a very neat keepsake. And then here's one of the newer models that actually plugged in and heated your coffee or your water for your tea and still had the little percolator up top. See how things just evolved and changed? But all of these things are fun and important, looking into our past. But I don't think anybody's going to be keeping a Mr. Coffee for sentimental purposes now. Which type of a person are you? I think it's always important for us to analyze ourselves and see what type of person are we. When you pull up your maps on the phone, are you the type that's looking for the fastest route, the quickest route to where you're going? Or are you looking for the shortest route that will have less miles and cost you less money in the long run. Think about those toll roads that we take. Sometimes they add a lot more miles to what we're driving, and we have to pay a toll on top of that, but we can go faster and we don't have to have any stops, and we know that we are keeping moving. And sometimes in this society, we feel like if we're keeping moving, it has to be better, right? It has to be faster. It has to get us there quicker. But sometimes those taking the other route, the shorter route where you have more stop signs and you spend less gas, for some of us frugal people, that's the choice we pick, because we know that the toll road fees are not going to be taken out of our pocketbook right now, and that we will see that benefit down the road, won't we? Every decision we make, there is a why in the road, kind of like choosing either the toll road or shortest path. Think about the days that we all washed dishes by hand. I still wash my dishes by hand. I don't own a dishwasher. But when you washed your dishes by hand, you had like a tablespoon of soap. You had about 5 gallons of water. You had the other sink with probably 3 gallons of water, and you would wash and dip and dry. And it took a little bit longer, but your things were just as clean, and you used less water and less detergent. Now think how much it costs you for a container of Cascade or a container of Finish, and how often you have to buy those things, and how much more they cost than just a squirt bottle of detergent to hand wash. And then you're also using more water, you're using electricity. Faster, more expensive. Slower, less expensive. Those are just some of the examples that I'm going to give today. Another example is how we used to have powder detergent growing up. And then we went to liquid detergent. And then we went to pods. And each of those things gradually moved us into a quicker, easier, more expensive pattern of life. And many of us don't even think about the fact that it used to be powder before. We always had powder growing up. And I went from some of those ways, and then I realized how much more expensive they were per wash. And so now I'm going clear back to powder. And many of us have washing machines where we feel like, oh, it doesn't dissolve right. They're low water washing machines, right? So I'm just getting an old spaghetti jar. I'm going to put my powder in here, fill it up with water, shake it, and let it dissolve so that I can dump it in my wash and do my laundry. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit slower. It's going to take one additional step of about 2 to 3 seconds, but it's going to save me a bunch more money down the road. Also, we used to use bar soap, and then we went to soft soap, and then we went to automatic pumps. All of these things along the way, just gradual changes that were easier, faster, and cost us more money, and ended up having us use more product. We've gone back to the bar soap. I can't even imagine how much money I have saved from going back to bar soap. You use it up so much slower, and it's so much cheaper. And it's just worth the little bit of inconvenience to unwrap that bar and put it up there instead of sitting the bottle up there. And I don't have to buy it very often, so it's not on my shopping list to do. It's one less thing I have to do less often. Even all the cleaners that we buy that are $4, $5, $6 a bottle. I just buy one giant gallon jug of white vinegar, mix it half and half, put it in a spray bottle that cost me about $1 at the dollar store, and I use that for everything now. I can't even imagine how much money I've saved by switching to having to take one more step to actually mix my vinegar and water and pour it into a spray container. Again, it's not the shortest route, but it's definitely the least expensive. Choices we make every single day affect our pocketbook. all of these little choices that go into our day-to-day activities and routines. But we see results, we see big results if we take these extra 2 to 3 seconds to do a few of these things. We can save lots of money off of our grocery bill. And now with groceries being so expensive, I think we're all looking for ways to save on that end grocery dollar amount when we get to the register. When is the last time that you thought about other options when you went shopping? Other options on cleaners, paper towels, soap, dishwashing detergent, dishwasher detergent. I ran my dryer last week for about 20 minutes because we actually got some rain here in Kansas, which has been non-existent for a while. And that is the first time that I have ran my dryer since I can't even remember when, because we've had one of the driest summers we've ever had. Again, something that wasn't the shortest route by hanging things on the line, but definitely the least expensive route. And I don't know about you, but I find it therapeutic to hang clothes on the line. It's one of the things I have always loved to do. It gets me outside, it gets me into nature, and I feel like I'm still being productive and I'm still getting to enjoy being outside a little bit instead of doing all the tasks inside that keep you inside. So sometimes just looking at the brands and ways to step down in the brands, they can be a way to save. But also look at ways to step down in the task itself. What can you do to step back in time just a bit in the task itself to save yourself some money? So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed having you with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day.